Hey guys, it's Corey with 10 Best Ones, and today we've decided to review the 5 best options for you. If you'd like to see their price and find out more information, you can check out the links in the description down below. Let's get started. We are going to start this list with the best budget option that you can get your hands on.
Number 5. DIERYA Mechanical Gaming Keyboard. If you're thinking about becoming a professional gamer, then you better be ready to invest in that experience. Looking at the gaming gear market, there are many different gaming keyboards and layouts that you can choose from. Still, it's quite clear that the mechanical one is most suitable for gaming. While the regular rubber dome keyboard can be used for purposes such as office work, it's simply not comfortable or reliable enough for anything else. Bearing this in mind, we looked through a couple of different types and found clear differences between the full-sized, TKL and 60% keyboards. While the latter doesn't have all the features of the first two, lacks a numerical pad and F-row, we think it is the ideal choice for someone who's lacking space. DIERYA Mechanical Gaming Keyboard has one of the most affordable yet functional models on the market. Additionally, this keyboard can be used with a number of devices, not only a computer. Thus, you can play games on an iPad, Android and iPhone by simply connecting your device with this keyboard. Last but not least, it's highlighted by an innovative and quality design that comes in the form of Cherry MX. Getting your money's worth is the main design that you should be striving for when it comes to gaming equipment. Luckily, DIERYA has that in mind. Apart from the keyboard itself, there's also the installation CD that you need in order to put this product to use. You'll get a user's guide with all the instructions on how to set up different keystrokes and macro combos. The keyboard features a backlit system as well as a 1-year limited warranty. Last but not least, there's also a 1.5 meter USB cable that's adequate with the included 2.0 high-speed port.
This next model is the best option for gaming, and I think that this would be a great fit for any type of gamer.
Number 4. Drevo Caliber V2. Only a few years ago, mechanical keyboards were regarded as the equivalent of handcrafted automobiles, finely tooled to exacting standards and way more expensive than your standard show floor models. Even when austere and limited to narrow feature sets, they sold to a small audience who valued their sturdiness and variety of switch types, each of which possessed its own distinctive touch, and paying more than $150 wasn't atypical. Compromises were inevitable, but the result was mechanical keyboards that were both less expensive and feature-richer than the ones of old. This is especially the case today in Asia, where mechanical keyboards that sell for $60 or less are fairly common. Only a small subset of these units hits the US and European markets, and even fewer draw attention to what they do. Gamers typically prefer to pay a higher price with the promise of more physical features, such as dedicated media and macro keys and sophisticated configuration software. Recently, however, one of those newer inexpensive mechanicals was sent to us by Beijing-based manufacturer Drevo. It's called the Caliber 2, presumably because the name Excalibur was already taken by keyboard maker Tesoro for one of its own gaming keyboards. Or it might just be the obvious play on words. For just as Caliber is a reduction of Excalibur, so this keyboard is a reduced version of a standard-sized one. Caliber version 2 is improved based on Caliber, which is shorter and more compact and features with true RGB backlight on both front and side. Supports for both PC and Mac, easily switched by pressing FN and Tab. Detachable USB Type-C cable, 2 pairs of magnetic feet to adjust the keyboard height, ABS laser-marked keycaps combine great feel and better transparency for the backlight. Macro, media control, RGB backlight, keyboard shortcuts can be customized in powerful DPC software.
If you're looking for a mid-range model, then this next pick is a great option.
Number 3. Drop Alt. Frustrating software aside, the Alt is a fantastic keyboard, particularly for those looking to investigate the deep and wide mechanical niche. It features excellent build and lighting, and it comes with all the bells and whistles you could want, and it had better considering the price. For a keyboard that's intended to bring some functions of elaborate custom builds to the layperson, it's a big blot in an otherwise excellent package. Old hands at QMK will no doubt be thrilled, but the target audience not so much. The Alt and larger Control aren't the only keyboards on the market with hot swappable keycaps, and you could build one yourself. You can find one from suppliers like GMMK at a significant discount. However, it won't have that wonderful aluminium case, magnetic feet, RGB lighting, programming via QMK, pass-through USB-C data, and so on. If you want the ultimate mechanical keyboard in a standard layout and you don't want to build it yourself, the Ult is worth the admission price. And best of all, it'd be compatible with hundreds of Switch variants, old and new, for years to come.
Before we talk about the best model overall, let's look at the runner-up for this list.
Number 2. ANPRO 2. The first ANPRO was the best mobile gaming keyboard when it was first launched. It's a 60% keyboard that came with a variety of Gateron switches, perky RGB lighting, and supported both a Bluetooth 3.0 and wired connection. While it was an amazing keyboard, it did have software and hardware issues. See ANPRO 1 review here. The ANPRO 2 fixed those issues and also improved the typing experience overall by offering better software and hardware. At first glance, the ANPRO siblings seem identical, but a closer look reveals the various improvements and features in the latest model. One of the differences is the switches. The Kali Browns have a more stable tactile feel thanks to the box switch design and better stabilization bars for the keys. It also incorporates a Bluetooth switch at the bottom of the keyboard, which was one of the most requested features for the keyboard. The original ANPRO came with Oben software for Windows and mobile devices, which was clunky at best. It required a Bluetooth connection to work, and when it did connect, it wasn't very intuitive and didn't always save your settings. With Oben's Lab Starter, the entire user interface has been revamped and is much easier to set up the keyboard. There are multiple tabs to adjust key layout, lighting, special settings, firmware, and to create macros. Oben's has really improved the ANPRO with better Bluetooth connectivity, which never missed or repeated a keystroke. The addition of USB-C is also a welcome change, since it's much easier plugging in the cable without looking at the port. The Kali switches and the improved stabilizer bars for the larger keys makes the typing and gaming experience much better.
Finally, the next model is the best overall. From us, it gets a perfect score in all categories.
Number 1. Ducky One 2 Mini. The Ducky One 2 Mini is the best 60% keyboard on the market. It packages a plethora of customization, high quality, nice touches in one good-looking package. At its price point, the Ducky One 2 Mini is considered a premium keyboard, but it's completely worth the price. This is the keyboard to beat in the 60% space and overall. Other keyboards like the Poker and the ANPRO are good competitors, but I'd put the Ducky on top. The Ducky One 2 Mini sports a quintessential 60% design with just the essentials. With its FN layer system, you don't really lose all that much in terms of functionality when compared to a TKL. The case is made entirely of plastic with a duotone black top and white backing. The plastic and backplate are thick enough to make the Ducky quite rigid with little to no flex. The 60% design of course gives you back a lot of room on your desk. If you can live without a numpad, I'd recommend a 60% for gaming. Your mouse could always use more space, especially if you game at low sensitivity or your desk space is limited. The Ducky One 2 Mini's quality really shows here. This is the most enjoyable typing experience I've had on a mainstream board. For gamers, I recommend the silent reds, browns or speeds, and in the Ducky you can't really go wrong. It's hard to go back on quality after you've experienced a board like the Ducky One 2 Mini. If you don't think you'll miss the numpad and are really craving more desk space, the Ducky One 2 Mini should be one of your first candidates. Buying guide. Firstly, great for gamers. In fact, the most hardcore gamers wouldn't consider anything less than a fully mechanical keyboard. The reason? Accuracy. The satisfying click and non-mistakable tactile response give you real-time feedback that just can't be found on most membrane or scissor-style keyboards. Many users report that switching to a mechanical keyboard improves keystroke accuracy, which leads to fewer errors and typos. Unlike the typical scissor or membrane-style keyboard, mechanicals are often sold with specific switches depending on your purpose. For example, certain switches require you to bottom out or fully depress the key before actuation, while others have shorter travel distances for quicker clicks. Secondly, price. Is it worth it to go with high-end switches, or is a cheaper model more than okay for your needs? Do you need a backlit keyboard? A number pad? How long do you need it to last? These are just a few of the questions you should be asking before spending more than $100 on a keyboard. Between all the various features and the quality of hardware, the price of a keyboard can be as high as a few $100s. Then again, they're designed to last for years or even decades, so you might be able to justify the cost if you're a buy-it-for-life kind of person. Thirdly, switches. Knowing what you intend to use the keyboard for and what levels of noise, travel distance and bump you desire will allow you to narrow down your options considerably. By far the most popular switches are Cherry MX, and they come in multiple varieties that offer different features depending on just what you're looking for. Remember, one of the biggest perks for going mechanical is the level of customizability it offers. Cherry MX Black switches offer no tactile or audio feedback. That means you don't feel any bump upon actuation, nor will you hear any noise. Cherry MX Blue have a slight bump and a clicking sound that you'll hear upon actuation. Pressing the key to about halfway point actuates it, so unlike the Black, you don't need to bottom it out in order to get the job done. Cherry MX Brown switches are almost the same switches as the Blue, only they're much quieter. You still have a short travel distance and a halfway point actuation, but without the loud click with each press. And fourthly, layout. Another major aspect that one should consider when buying a mechanical keyboard is the keyboard layout. As when a user presses a key on the keyboard, say for instance A, the keyboard does not understand what A is, and it rather corresponds to the letter A with its raw key code value mapped during the functional arrangement of the keyboard. So, based on the different regions across the world, there are 3 types of layouts that are currently considered the standard: ANSI, ISO and GIS. ANSI, or American National Standards Institute, is a common layout found on keyboards used across North America and certain parts of Western Europe, whereas the ISO, or International Standards Organization layout, is seen on keyboards in Europe, and the JIS, or GIS, or Japan Industrial Standards keyboard, is specific to Japan. Among these standard layouts, ANSI is the most common standard used on keyboards worldwide, followed by ISO. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you found it helpful, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. If you have any questions related to these products, you can leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.